Song and Dance Man, read by Mrs. Monique Gordon. Grandpa was a song and dance man who once danced on the vaudeville stage. When we visit, he tells us about a time before people watched TV, back in the good old days, a song and dance days. Super in an hour, Grandma calls from the kitchen. I wonder if my tap shoes still fit. Grandpa says with a smile. Then he turns on the light to the attic, and we follow him up the steep wooden steps. All right, boys and girls, supper is a synonym for dinner. Grandma was letting them know that dinner will be ready in an hour. Also, the word steep is a meaning of a slant or up and downward slope, and the adjective is steep. The word attic also means a space or room just below the roof of a building. So you've learned three new words: supper, attic, and steep. Faded posters of Grandpa when he was young hang on the walls. He moves some cardboard boxes and a rack of Grandma's winter dresses out of the way, and we see a dusty brown leather trimmed trunk in the corner. Soon as Grandpa opens it, the smell of cedar chips and old things saved fills the attic. Inside are his shoes with the silver half moon taps on the toes and heels, bowler hats and top hats and vests with stripes and matching bow ties. We try on hats and pretend we're dancing on a vaudeville stage where the bright lights twinkle and the piano player nods his head along with the music. Can you imagine that you are there with Grandpa in the attic, listening, tap dancing, trying on all these hats and bow ties? And also the word cedar chips. It is less minty smell than pine. It's almost like a mouthbally type. Your grandparents, if you'll ask your grandparents or your parents, what does cedar smell like? That's something to investigate. Most people like that smell better than pine. After wiping his shoes with a cloth he calls a chamois, Grandpa puts them on. He tucks small white pads inside the shoes so his corns won't rub, and he turns on the lamps and aims each one down like a spotlight. All right, boys and girls, the vocabulary chamois. That is a leather cloth that's used to make things shine. Also, the word corn. Those are thick, hardened layers of skin that develop when the skin tries to protect itself against friction or pressure. They may form on your feet and toes, even your hands and fingers. If you're healthy, you don't need treatment, but they're calluses that sometimes can cause pain and you don't like how they look. So you don't want to have anything that will make you have corns. Let's look at the next page. He sprinkles a little powder on the floor, and it's showtime. We sit on one of Grandpa's woolen blankets, clap our hands, and call out, "Yay, Grandpa!" That sounds fun. The song and dance man begins to dance the old soft shoe. His feet move slowly at first, while his tap shoes make soft, slippery sounds like rain on a tin roof. We forget that it's Grandpa dancing, and all we can hear is a silvery tap of 2 feet, and all we can see is a song and dance man gliding across a vaudeville stage. Examine the picture and imagine you're there with Grandpa. He says, "Watch this," and does a new step that sounds like a woodpecker tapping on a tree. Suddenly, his shoes move faster and he begins to sing. His voice is as round and strong as a canyon echo, and his cheeks get rosy as he sings Yankee Doodle Boy, a song he knows from the good old days. There are too many dance steps and too many words in this song for us to remember, but the show is better than any show on TV. The song and dance man stops and leans forward with a wink. "What's that in your ear?" he asks, and he pulls a silver dollar out of somebody's hair. He rolls his bowler hat down his arm, catches it in his hand, and flips it back up onto his head. "Know how to make an elephant float?" he asks. "1 scoop of ice cream, 2 squirts of soda, and 3 scoops of elephant." We've heard that joke before, but the song and dance man, he slaps his knee and he laughs until his eyes water. Grandparents are so much fun. Enjoy them and enjoy those laughs. He tries to wipe them with a red hanky from his vest pocket, but the hanky just gets longer and longer as he pulls it out. He looks so surprised that we start laughing too, and it feels like the whole attic is shaking. A handkerchief, guys, is a small piece of material that, or is a square of cotton, is finely woven material. It's often carried in one's pocket and intended for blowing or wiping their noses. My father still keeps a handkerchief. That's a short term for the word. The long term is handkerchief, but hanky is like the short version of that word. Now let's look at the next page. Sometimes we laugh so hard the hiccups start. And Grandpa stops to bring us a glass of water from the bathroom. "Drink slow and hold your breath," he says, "or I'll have to scare you." Once our hiccups are gone, he gets a gold tipped cane and a black silk top hat from the trunk. He lowers his eyes and tips the hat, and he's standing very still. All the lights are turned low except one that shines on his polished tap shoes. It's the grand finale. So the song and the dance man takes a deep breath. He lifts the cane and holds it in both hands. Boys and girls, the word finale means it's the last part of a piece of music or a performance or a public event, especially when it's exciting. So that means it's about to end. Let's look at the next page. Slowly, he starts to tap. His shoes move faster and faster, and the sounds coming from them are too many to make with only 2 feet. He spins and jumps into the air, touching the stage again. He kneels with his arms spread out, and the silk top hat and gold tipped cane lie side by side at his feet. His shoes are still, and the show is over. We stand up together and clap our hands, shouting, "Hooray!" and more. But Grandpa only smiles and shakes his head, all out of breath. He takes off his tap shoes, wraps them gently in the chamois cloth, and puts them back in the leather trimmed trunk. He carefully folds his vest and lays the top hat and cane on it. We follow him to the stairway. Boys and girls, remember that the chamois is a leather cloth that's used to make things shine. Grandpa holds on the rail as we go down the steps. At the bottom, he hugs us, and we tell him we wish we could have seen him dance in the good old days, the song and dance days. He smiles and whispers that he wouldn't trade a million good old days for the days he spends with us. But as he turns off the attic light, Grandpa glances back up the stairs, and we wonder how much he really misses that time on the vaudeville stage when he was a song and dance man. This is the end, boys and girls. Song and Dance Man was written by Karen Ackerman and illustrated by Stephen Gamble. I've enjoyed reading this story to you. It reminds me so much of the times in the summers when I spent with my grandparents, especially my grandfather, when he would go and buy us all these treats at the store. So enjoy. Have a great night. Song and Dance Man, remember to take that AR test. Have a great night, third graders.